Hello. How do I get out of here? Just like that. Whoa. Hello, everybody. How are you? We still have the software. We've paused all the Patreon memberships, just so you know, if you're worried about that. All of that stuff is paused until we figure out what's going on. But we're going to talk about what's going on here today. Hope you're well. I don't have the chat up. One thing I love about this software is that the chat is right there. Anthony and Rough Riffs are hanging with us right now. And it's good to see you guys. Today, big topic of change. And I think it's a relevant topic, not only to, what's going on with Bandless, live streams and all that kind of stuff in itself, but also specific to being an artist, something that is constantly, the only constant is change. We've heard that saying before. It's true. The only constant thing in this reality that we're experiencing is change. Things are always changing. And the people who are better at adapting to change tend to do a little bit better. It's not a surprise. But it's not a competition. We're not talking about doing better than the next guy, just doing better for yourself. And that's what Bandless is all about. Change is a worthy topic in that world. So we're going to talk about it in relationship to what's happening with Bandless and what's happening in terms of what's happening with me, what's happening with Anthony, what's happening with Thomas Isaac Powell, the Dano Master. How's that Dano treating you, Mr. Thomas Powell? I hope all is well. I hope you're shredding chords. G chord, E chord, C chord, shredding. Hope all is well. It's good to always see you in the stream, Mr. Powell. Hopefully one day we'll be able to hang out again and crack knee slapper jokes. All the way out in sunny Vancouver, rainy Vancouver. Anyhow, today's topic is change. And so we're going to first cover what's going on with Bandless. What's going on with Bandless is, number one thing is Nick Hill is very busy with post-COVID life. In his situation, for me, COVID is still raging here in Toronto. We're in a partial lockdown and it's very safe. Canada is all about safety first. They're trying to help save everyone. I don't think it's terrible. I'm into it. I'm okay with it. But in the USA of America, is that a thing? It's business as usual, and people are out there trying to make their livelihood and all that kind of stuff. It's a little less socialist, a little bit more opportunist, and so people have to hustle. That's just the way it is, and Nick Hill is hustling. He's doing it in a safe way, but he's out there working. He's flying out to shoots. He's flying crisscrossing the country all the time, doing shoots, doing all the stuff. So between that and then at home, putting in long days of editing, trying to catch up for the company, trying to help the company to sort of catch up with all that lost time. And they have piles of clientele and piles of work that are happening, as well as he's trying to kind of get back to his own channel. His own YouTube channel is pretty much not doing anything. His own music output is not doing anything because life is getting in the way. So Nick Hill is kind of not able to commit to this. I noticed in the Bandless Discord, we're going to talk about the Discord as well, but in the Bandless Discord, a little bit of chat about Nick's, being like, you got to see things through. Well, in that topic of seeing things through, he's maybe not being able to see things through on a regular schedule with Bandless or anything like that. Uh, but he's prioritized what he's seeing through, which is his family, his career, and all that kind of stuff, which is something that we all have to do from time to time. And even I have to do it. Even though my schedule is a little bit more, at the moment, my schedule is a little bit more flexible. I can move things around a little bit more easily than Nick can, even though there's a lot to do here in Bunland. But these are things that happen in life, and we tend to get underneath them. You know, something I've noticed with musicians and all this kind of stuff. You know, we put in all this effort, we do this bitchin' stuff, and we get this momentum going. We get some traction, all that kind of stuff. Maybe it's playing live shows and we build up a live audience, or maybe it's we release some music and we get some traction with an online audience, Spotify plays, all that kind of stuff. But then we sort of fall off. And when we fall off of doing anything on a regular schedule, things seem to suffer. However, what's happening usually is we're looking at the short term. We're looking at the very moment as things wind down. You know, the momentum is not maintaining. Therefore, the numbers with the momentum tend to decrease and whatever. But if we're looking at big picture in terms of making things, doing things, maybe it's fine because we have things out there. We have seen things through and put things out into the world. So, and we can come back to them. And yeah, in this whole thing of change, what change tells us is sort of how to change better if we're paying attention. I don't know. I try to pay attention to that stuff. I don't know if you guys try to pay attention to that stuff. But anyway, so the channel is changing in that way. Nick Hill is not very capable in terms of his available hours to participate. He's got an incredible amount of responsibilities on his plate right now. So I do get to talk to him from time to time whenever he's, you know, at home and not flying and not on set or whatever. I've talked to him a few times. He's well. He's not stressed. He's feeling a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of wishing he could have maintained more of this stuff, and that it's suffering because of his career. And yeah, we all do that to ourselves, but not a big deal. He's doing fine. All of this stuff is doing fine. So, yeah, change. Nick Hill is not going to be as involved with Bandless. We're not sure how much at all in the future. Not sure if the Bandless live streams are going to continue on a weekly. Everything is on me now, and I'm kicking up my personal YouTube channel, my personal musical output. And I'm kind of like in my own musical world life. I'm kind of tired of being under the thumb of my own poor time management, or my own poor prioritization. I feel like I don't prioritize how I go about creating things. And what I'm talking about is videos are a great example. I make a lot of videos. Last month, in July, I only released one video, and I got under the thumb of a couple different video ideas that were too big. And I'm like, I've done this enough times. I should know the difference. I should be able to kind of like gauge as I'm writing a video treatment and writing a script and all that kind of stuff. I should be able to gauge. It's like, okay, how big is this idea? How big is this production? And what's it going to take to see it through? And so what my big discovery, my big revelation in terms of a change that I'm making is I need to, in terms of videos, I need to make them all smaller ideas. Everything needs to be smaller. Everything needs to be simpler. Everything I'm doing needs to be more focused and just smaller, less of everything in order to achieve more. Sounds crazy, right? Do less to get more. It's a real thing though. But so yeah, Bandless is changing in those ways. Nick Hill is kind of on hiatus for an indefinite amount of time. And it's totally cool. It's totally up to him, whatever he wants to do. If he wants to waltz back in, he can totally do that, and there is no judgment. If he wants to just like kick it to the curb, that's totally fine as well. In terms of the live streams, not sure how we're going to proceed with that. We're going to talk about that in a bit and figure out what we can do with that. Before I get to the next little bit, we're going to just hang out in the comments here a little. And I'm just going to say hello to a bunch of you handsome folks, you good looking peoples. You know, if you're not, can a woman be handsome? I think a woman would rather be beautiful than handsome. But if there are ladies in the stream, I hope you're having a beautiful night, and it's nice to see your not chatting face, but still a beautiful face in the screen. trying to cover off here. Anyhow, Thomas Powell, super sexy. He says, look at this. What he's talking about is the Dan Electro. It's super sexy. He hot railed it. He has a Dan Electro 56 baritone or a vintage. I don't know which one you have, Mr. Powell. Do you have the vintage with the dolphin hole, whatever, the S hole? It's not an F hole, really. I don't know. Or do you have the 56? And he's looking forward to, not too sure what you're looking forward to, but their life is worth looking forward to. But he hot railed it. He's sorry because it's a cardinal sin. If you're talking like the guy who wears the mouse hat, he's all about the cardinal sin of EDM. Cardinal sin of baritone Dan Electros is never change the pickups because the lipsticks are perfect. Anyhow, Dr. Keys, good to see you, Dr. Keys. I hope you're well. Thanks for the stream invite. This whole affair makes me feel I'm not really part of any community. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. We're going to talk about the sort of bandless community. It's a tough thing with community, especially in regards to the bandless. Like, let's talk about like the Discord. In terms of community, people naturally clump together in terms of their personal interests. That's just what we do. Of course, I'm going to give more attention. You know, I try to be very inclusive in a wide net in terms of social activities or community activities or whatever. It's difficult, but I try to prioritize that as best I can. But in my personal life, I'm just like everybody else. I definitely prioritize the people that I have the most in common with and that are doing similar things to me. And when it comes to music, we tend to clump in terms of the musical genres that we do, or the aesthetics of what we're doing, because it's art, right? It has an aesthetic value. And I don't know, that's something that I definitely lob onto. I lob onto other people who share, have an aesthetic interest in a similar direction, or are doing music that is remotely similar. I'm not too picky, but yeah, we do these things. So community in the bandless world, it can kind of be tough a little bit, I think. It's great when it works, but where it gets tough is if there aren't very many people in the bandless community or any online community who are doing something similar to you. Yes, maybe you're all playing music. Yes, maybe you're all releasing music. Yes, maybe you're all guitar players. And there can be an extensive category of yeses, or extensive categories of yeses. It's like where everything checks and there's all these commonalities. But then there's like a few key things that still make people want to sort of clump together. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Some people are more willing to try to make it a wider net than others. Hopefully, we find those people in our lives. But yeah, community. We're going to talk about the Bandless community in a bit. I've got a note here for that in terms of change and what's going on with all of that. And Dr. Keys has a little bit more here. The unfortunate part is that if no money is earned in the short term, it makes things really difficult for us creators to keep creating. Yeah, money, finances, and business of being an artist is very complicated. And it's even more complicated. So now in this world, there is much more available to us as an independent creator in terms of making a financial path for ourselves and not having to rely on a band, not having to rely on a label or a promoter or anything like that. We can go out there and make our own way. We have to be really savvy or willing to get really savvy and hone a lot of skills, develop a lot of skills, and work really hard. But it's available to us, but it's more complicated than ever because the way to make it all work is to make a little bit of money in many categories, so that you're not relying on one stream of revenue to pay your bills. And that's complicated. And it takes a while to set up. It's taken me, I'm just at the beginning of what I'm doing personally, as an artist, as a creator of sorts. And I'm just now being able to make sense of all that. And I've been doing the solo thing. I've been reaching for the solo artist thing now since 2014. That's when I decided. The seed kind of set in about 2012 and 2014. I was like, I think I can do this, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I started off by just being like, I just kept my day job and all that kind of stuff. I kept my day job for a long time, and I still have sort of side hustle jobs that are not this stuff. But yeah, I made my way with it, and it took a while to make sense of it and see what the opportunities were to generate revenue. So generating revenue, that's another topic. And I would be happy to do a stream all about revenue, how I generate revenue, the things that I've considered, things that I've tried, things that work, and just the many areas of revenue the many ways that I make money to do this stuff. We can totally do that. Anyhow, Dr. Keys, who else is in here? Thomas Powell, 56. He's got a 56 baritone. It's a good choice. Is it a black or a sparkle black? I hope it's a sparkle black. I've been looking at the sparkle black one and I find it sexier than the black one. wild coming out of my mouth. So Rough Riffs is saying it's easier to accomplish a bunch of little things than one monolithic task. Sometimes that means breaking into smaller things or choosing more smaller things, which can be done, as you mentioned. Yeah, 100%. So change for me right now, as an artist, means doing way less things, picking my focuses instead. Like for YouTube, instead of having like 4 possible shows I can do, I'm just going to focus on 2, and I'm not going to do any more. That's it. I'm just doing the 2 shows. They're already mapped out and scheduled for the next 3 months. So I have no one to blame other than myself if I don't hit my targets. In terms of music, same thing. It's mapped out. I'm doing 3 different musical projects, but I don't have to do any given one. The reason I have 3 musical projects is so that if I just am not, feeling the vibes on one, I have another that I can put my energy into, and I don't have to worry about, congruency and art, meeting the art direction of a particular thing when maybe the riffs that are coming out are lame, or something. The thing about it that I'm starting to find is the more that I prioritize music and the more that I make music creation a constant thing, is things constantly flow. It becomes much more, I don't know, much easier to kind of output things. But yeah, change for me as an artist right now is in the direction of simpler, smaller, simpler, focusing on primary things so that I can achieve more, so that I can output more. So in this case, the less is more thing really rings true. And I think everybody, when they really dig into things, this is a realization that everybody comes to. Mike Hoover is saying, I can relate to Nick's situation, post COVID-19 life. That and 100-degree temperatures here have kept me out of the studio for months. Yeah. Thankfully, here in Canada, the temperatures have been very nice. We have not been experiencing the heat waves we normally do. Maybe they're still to come, but I'm sorry that you guys are having to deal with that. But yeah, the post-COVID life, like I say, it's not post-COVID here, but things are definitely ramping up. Restrictions are lifting little by little, and people's busyness is increasing little by little as well. And yeah, other places in the world, it's full on. It's just like every man for himself, or every woman for himself, or every person for themselves. Let's make it gender neutral. Not that I'm that political, but just be fair. And whatchamacallit, Rough Riffs is saying Dr. Keys and social media contributing to shorter attention spans. It's a weird cycle. Interesting. That's another topic we can get into one day, is the attention spans. It's arguable that in some ways it's much shorter, but in other ways people are starved for long form content. Enough people, enough of the right people, I suppose. If you seek to appeal to the popular notion, the popular opinion, then maybe not. But I'm not making music or anything. I don't make anything for the popular crowd. Everything I do is mega niche, and it seems as though those people are hungry for juicy stuff, juicy content, longer form content. So that's a different conversation. We're not really going to get into that today, but it's great. Amazing topic. Nar Antlers says, I've accepted that music is my hobby. I have zero expectations of ever making money with music. Yeah. And Bandless is about that. Bandless kind of attempts to straddle that whole spectrum. It's about people who are really kind of going for it and attempting to make it their primary revenue generation thing. That's my story. It's like I seek to be 100% a creative entrepreneur, I guess. It's not just music, but it's all things surrounding music. And that's what I'm interested in. And that's what a lot of people are interested in. But the complete opposite side of that is also true. But that doesn't mean, if you're bandless, like you're going for this solo music thing, it doesn't mean that you're not interested in writing and recording your own music, even if you don't share it with anybody. Maybe you're 100% interested in seeing how much you can, just personal challenge, personal interest in creativity, and seeing how much you can create or how much you can do with music. So a lot of this bandless stuff also tends to apply to that, even though, maybe the revenue topic is not applicable to folks like yourself, Nar Antlers. And there are many of you. There are many of people, they call them the weekend warriors. I always feel like that term is thrown around with negative connotation, but I think it's a fabulous thing. It's way better to have, well, better or worse, it's arguable, but I think it's amazing to have something that you're passionate about in your life. You have your day job. Maybe you're even passionate about your day job, but you also have this other thing where you can spend your free time doing something awesome, as opposed to, I don't know, getting high and watching TV. No judgment if that's what people like to do, but I don't know. I definitely take making music and creating things or whatever, having, if it's a hobby and you're a weekend warrior, I think it's worthy of being proud of, because the alternative looks grim. But change. So the channel, we know that Nick is kind of like out for the time being. Who knows? And no pressure on Nick for that. Nick and I co-founded this. This wouldn't have happened without Nick. So if it would have been up to me, I never would have founded this, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't think I would ever be able to do something like this. So thank you to Nick for all of that. And it's connected all of us, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But Nick is out. In terms of the streams going forward, not sure if we're going to do it weekly. Do we try doing it weekly? I love Bandless, personally. Just saying. The only thing that I can't commit to personally is I really like to structure and format shows. Structure and format anything. And the topic, I like the topic to be poignant and useful and helpful, and a conversation. So I won't always be able to prepare content. I didn't really prepare. It just like, this is a hot topic. This change thing is a hot topic in what I'm doing personally, as well as what's going on with Bandless. So there is lots to talk about, and there is an easy way to sort of relate it to being an artist, because that's entirely what's happening to me. And it is always happening. And I think trying to hold on to try and nail stuff down to be exactly the same is maybe a little bit of a mistake, because it prohibits you from being agile and being able to pivot in your music, in your art, in your career, in your life. So yeah, change is worthy of embracing, I think, and worthy of practicing. But yeah, moving forward, do we try to keep doing it on the weekly and just play it by ear? If any given week I cannot do it, then I don't do it, and so be it. Something that I do want to switch to personally, or at least include, is a lot of the stuff I'm working on right now. I can do tutorials. Easy, simple stuff, not like big production stuff, but I would like to start posting to this channel tutorials in terms of how to create a merch collection for your art. I'm revitalizing all of my merch as we speak, and I can do a very quick tutorial, screen tutorial of like, okay, how to put your designs together, then how to launch a threadless account and how to use a threadless account alongside of being an artist. Merch is a huge revenue driver, and also a lot of fun. If you like creating things, you might like creating t-shirt designs or whatever, merch designs. There's all kinds of merch options these days, probably more than you understand. So, or not understand, are aware of. So that's just the first thing that comes to mind. There's many things to do these types of screen capture tutorial type things about, but that's something that I seek to start sharing on this channel a lot, because it's not appropriate content for my personal channel, but it's perfect for this audience, and everybody wants to do everything themselves. That's the whole idea of Bandless. Do everything yourself. If you want to, you don't have to, but whatever it is you want to do yourself, we try to cover those things. And I kind of do everything myself. I don't have anybody helping me. So I know how to do a lot of things. Am I the best at any given thing? No, I'm not. But I'm happy to share what I do know, always. So that's something that I'm going to be doing a lot more on this channel. So even if we miss live streams, I'll be able to share tutorials on how to do stuff. So That's changes that are coming here. Do those changes sound like something that are interesting to you? Because it doesn't matter. Like, the only reason I want to continue doing this is because I want to uh, help inspire, work with other people to do more of the things that I like to do. Like, I like to do them. I understand how important it is to me. I obviously get it. So obviously there's something similar going on with most of you guys. You want to do stuff. You want to make your music. You want to get it out there. Even if you don't want to release it to anyone. I have a friend who, self-inflatable, and he has an incredible library of music that is all kick-ass. And he doesn't release any of it. He probably will at some point, but yeah, he's got years of music in Google folders, and it's all killer. So you don't need to release it, and he gets stoked whenever he has like a full folder of finished pieces of music. He is stoked on it. He doesn't need to release it to be stoked on it. So there's a few of us in this bandless world that are interested in that stuff, but there's still always stuff to know about being able to get that stuff done. So maybe you're that person, or maybe you're trying to, make a go of it and make some money out of it. All of it is okay. And we seek to make it known that it's okay here on this Bandless thing, and help all that along. So jumping back to some comments here. Rough Riffs says, I'm not pre-reading them, by the way, because I can't. There's a big glare from the light over top of them. Hobbies are good too. I'm at a hobby point with music too, though, reaching to expand my influence. I don't want expect it to be my primary thing, but it's important to keep it going. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, we don't. I think what's something a good point to extract from this is, when it comes to things that bring us joy, we don't need a good logical reason. A lot of people want to default to a logic reason or a social reason. The question that we probably hear from friends and family a lot is like, do you make any money on that? Are you popular? Maybe who cares if I make any money on it, or who cares if I am popular? Maybe I just get joy out of doing it. That's good enough. But, even if you do want to monetize it, even if you do want to connect with an audience, I think if you don't have the joy first, that's the biggest propellant in doing it. If you don't, I've known some sour musicians in my life, and I'm like, why do you do it? There are better jobs. If it's just a job, there are definitely better jobs. I can't really, I can't think of good ones right now. But, like building hot rods for a living. I don't know, building amps. I don't know. There's building guitars. There's a whole bunch of things you can do that are not as souring as soured musician experiences. So if you hate it, if it doesn't bring you joy, I would say don't do it. But if it does bring you joy, you should do it. And if you have that energy behind you, going to the next level, it's an advantage. So yeah. Great point. Rough Riffs. Great. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of juicy stuff in there. Anthony Nieto, my brother, says, one of the exciting things about Bandless and solo creators is that it's a spectrum of change. Sometimes we're solo, other times various degrees of collaboration. Yeah. And what's interesting about a band is is a collaboration, and it is destined to change. There are some strange situations where it is the same lineup of people for 50 years. You know, the Rolling Stones, such a strange situation. I think Charlie Watt is the only guy who ever changed. Um, and Charlie Watt's been in the band for a really long time. And it's just like, that's not normal, you know. But there has been a lot of change inside of the project, surrounding the project, whatever. And I think we tend to, my seat is really noisy, really shaky. But yeah, we tend to look at one thing that doesn't change and apply that not changing to everything else surrounding the thing, when in fact everything surrounding the thing is changing. And then we sometimes put that pressure on ourselves. The Rolling Stones have been the same band forever. Why can't I be in the same band forever? And yeah, it's way better to embrace change, and especially when it comes to things like challenges or problems, and apply our creativity to them. You know, be like, okay, well, things do change. There are challenges. How can I creatively approach this? And you know, if I'm an artist and I'm constantly creating, how can I create opportunity out of this change, or how can I create you know, a desirable outcome of some sort? Sometimes things are just bad too. And the bad illuminates the good. The bad lets us know when the good times show up. By the way, I'm celebrating this Bandless with a Lost Craft beer. It's a lager. It's low percentage, and it's delicious. I love those when people do low percent. I guess light beers. They don't brand this as a light beer, but when the people do light beers with low percent that are tasty, it seems to be a hard thing to do. A lot of times they just taste like apple juice, you know. But yeah, light enough content that I'm not going to get drunk, because I'm not interested in getting drunk, but have a tasty beverage. Holy. Anyway, Eccentrics, how are you? Good to see you. Bunn Live. Yeah, Bunn Live on the Bandless channel. Big changes happening here at the Bandless channel. So Eccentrics is saying, bro, this baritone thing has me playing like a whole different animal. It's pretty wild, man. Yeah, baritone changed my life, and in a whole bunch of different ways. Speaking of changes. And yeah, has inspired me to kind of like do everything I've done in terms of sharing those beautiful things that it's done for me with everybody else. And hopefully it seems to be having an effect, having a positive effect for people. Barry Proser. Hello, sir. Hope you're well. How's your handsome face tonight? Hope you're jamming out. And Rough Refs is saying he's a flavor dude himself. Yeah. You know, I want coffee that's strong and flavorful, like dark. I like dark coffees. I want beers that are not necessarily strong, but flavorful. You know, there are some strong beers that are very nice. But yeah, I don't like high alcohol content. I'm not into that at all. Some people are like, yeah, give me what is it? The IPAs. The IPAs are like 8%, 6%, 8%. I'm like, no, never. I will never drink those. But anyway, back to change. So what's changing about Bandless? So tutorial content we've been talking about. You guys are interested in that? I got a little bit of that. Like Anthony is saying, yes, looks like a good, a positive there. But is tutorial content how to do merch, how to design merch, how to get merch onto the internet and like make that all work for you as an artist, how to put a web page together, how to style a Bandcamp page and turn your Bandcamp page into a mini website, how to use Bandcamp, how to do email newsletters and the kind of software that people do. Like, I do one. I've been working on that all day, actually. I got one that's going out tomorrow. But I do a monthly email newsletter, and it's not really a newsletter. I guess it's a digest of like my last month's activities, and I send it out every month. And it's a great way for people who are busy to keep up with the things they're interested in, and I keep up with other creators, artists, brilliant people. I'm not saying I'm a brilliant people, but other people who I think are brilliant. And I keep up with them through their newsletters because I don't have the time to hang out on YouTube. I don't have the time to constantly be checking back at their site. So the newsletter is a great thing that I follow newsletters to catch up with everything that that person has done, catch up with their content that I enjoy. So we can, with tutorial content, we can talk about, there's like every facet, every little sliver of the stuff that is relevant to being an artist, doing physical media. You want to do tapes? I know how to do tapes. I haven't done tapes for a couple years, but I'm considering doing tapes. So maybe we want to learn how to do tapes, what's involved in that. And, a big tutorial on doing your own tapes. Not actually, I don't manufacture them. I send them to a manufacturer, but there's a bunch of stuff to know. Doing vinyl, I'm probably not going to do vinyl, but I could do a lathe. I could do lathes, and we could learn about lathes. We could do a tutorial on that. All that kind of stuff. And we can go down the list of, I've done vinyl in the past, so we can go down the list of what you need to consider in terms of doing vinyl. But we can talk about all these things in more of a tutorial format where I kind of like pre-record it and I put it up this way. None of those things make great conversations. This way, this kind of stuff we can talk about change today we're talking about the topic of change and things inside that topic, like what are some of the changes that we want to see, such as tutorial content. Is that valuable to people? So yeah, we can do that stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to know, or do you already know everything there is to know about everything? And jumping back to the comments, Rough Riff says, Bandless, do you have ideas on how you're going to prioritize content for this channel? I do not. And that can come from you guys. Literally, you guys can call it out and I can just prioritize it based on what the community interest is. A big part of what we're going to be talking about is community here tonight. Well, I guess we're getting pretty far into it already. It's 8:43. But yeah, it can come from you guys. You can say what you want to see, and if there's like a popularity of a specific type of topic, especially if it's something that you see that I'm doing that you want to know more about. I don't know how obvious the things that I'm doing are, and something that we tend to miss if we're looking from the outside is like really how much goes into any particular thing. Putting a music release together. Like I have an ongoing series on my own channel about the four stages of producing music, which is the demo writing phase, the recording and production phase, the mixing phase, and the mastering and deliverables phase. And I still have to do the recording and production, which I'm working on as we speak. That is an ongoing thing right now. And then the other two. And yeah, there's so much to know about that stuff. Or there's so much that goes on. It's not just like snap your fingers and make it happen. However, the more practiced you are at it, you can get more to that point where it is snap your fingers and make it happen to a relatively high level. So I'm just using that as an example. But today in my Patreon and my YouTube memberships, I shared kind of a breakdown of what happened with the Vens EP. It's a 4-song EP. The songs are very short, but it was a radical departure from what I was doing musically at the time, and it all happened in a really, really fast turnaround, to the point of also releasing a whole run of tapes and a whole run of CDs. It all happened in an extremely short period of time, but it's because I was really practiced in doing that sort of stuff at the time, producing music, like writing music, producing music, getting music out there. And yeah, so you can do things a bit quickly once you kind of know everything, but there's a lot that goes into everything. So yeah, you guys pick what the tutorial content is. I know, or I have experience. I have experience with a lot of things, and I'm happy to share. I'm 100% happy to share. Anthony Nieto says, tutorial content sounds rad, by the way. So this kind of segues into another part here. Is there video content in the form of, say, a screen recording and narration, that maybe any of you guys would like to contribute to the Bandless channel? It's not a monetized channel, really. I'm not sure if we'll talk about the Patreon in a minute, but if any of you want to contribute content to the Bandless YouTube page, yeah, that would be great. And then secondarily, do we stick with the Discord, or do we branch out into social media? I don't really want to I can't personally manage more social media. Discord is all I can do. And there personally, and also the Discord, every time I go into the Bandless Discord, it's complicated. And it's kind of why I started my own Discord. And even that is like, yeah, not too sure. How do we want to manage like the content and share the content? Is anybody else interested in developing content for Bandless and sharing stuff that is relevant to being, little hacks? Could be little hacks, could be little like, this is how I did this. I made myself a website. This is what I did. I mastered my own tune. This is what I did. If you have pre-existing content as well, let us know and share it in the Discord. So yeah, it's all a lot of questions, nothing conclusive right there. Mr. Cosman, how are you, man? I hope all is well. Mr. Cosman has some great tutorial content, by the way, on his channel, and so does Anthony Nieto. So speaking of members with content, yeah, amazing. But yeah, if anybody wants to also supply content that doesn't fit with their own content, in terms of stuff that is helpful for other creators, other music creators, let me know. So leading into the Discord and the Patreon. So number one, Discord. Is there anything we can do to make the Discord a little bit more organized? And how do you feel? How do you feel about the Discord currently? Is it fine? Or does it need to be managed? I have a really hard time. There's a lot going on in there. Maybe I just need to focus on a few channels. There's so many channels, and I feel compelled to want to interact with more than I need to. And then I just shut down. I'm like, this is too complicated. So yeah. And who wants to take it on in terms of managing that? Does anybody want to? Because the thing about Bandless is not about me. I'm just really into it, and I just want to be helpful. Anybody else that wants to be into it and helpful, let me know and get involved. I'm gonna, whatchamacallit, I'm gonna put my email in here, Scott at thebunn.ca. Did I spell that right? Because sometimes, yeah, I didn't spell it right. I put an R in there. There we go.
Scott@thebun.ca. You can send me an email if you're for some reason not involved in the Bandless Discord and you'd like to be involved. It's a fantastic community. There's a lot happening there. I was just there today after not being there for about a week, and I'm just like, holy crap, a lot happens in a week. Number two, if you're not involved in the Bandless and you would like to get involved, let me know. I'll send you a link. And number two, if you'd like to be a moderator or whatever, and you're like, I would be happy to do more, to get involved. If you're a positive person and you like to help people and you'd like to help out, let me know. Because we can arrange that. If you'd like to get involved in any way, this Bandless thing is not about me. It's about the Bandless community. So if you seek to be helpful and involved, I want to know about it. So, right, lockdown 2.0. Yeah, it's getting pretty weird out there for places that have a high percentage of non-vaccinated people. But Cosman says, yeah, I think as lockdown 2.0 and winter comes, things will pick up. Things will pick up in terms of Bandless stuff. Not too sure. And whatchamacallit? Cosman, nice rock and riffs in the Discord earlier. Glad to see you. Oh, right, at Cosman. Able to work on some of your passion projects. Yeah, Cosman's been getting back to it quite a bit this past year, much more than years previous, as far as I am aware. But yeah, it's great to see everybody making things and sharing things and kind of talking and being pals. But yeah, so Bandless Discord. What does it need to be? Does anybody want to manage it? Do we need to slim it down in any way, like just make it simpler? Or is it fine the way it is? I want your input. And you should want your input because it's our community. It's, like I say, it's not about me. Very important to remember. It's like Bandless is not Scott Bunn. Bandless is us. And then, so leading to the Patreon, right now, Patreon is kind of, it's in a snooze mode. Like it's not billing, it's not doing anything. Do we continue with the Patreon? Nick is out, sort of whatever. So it's all going to be on me. I can change the management software. Do we keep the main reason that the Patreon is there is to pay for this software that allows us to kind of like actually have a conversation. Like, you know, with the comments up on screen, it becomes a conversation. And I think that's kind of valuable, but maybe we can make it work without it. And then we can keep the sort of Patreon on snooze. And yeah, it's really up to you guys. You guys drive all of this. So, and if we get rid of this software and don't worry about the conversational sort of comments on screen, we can still have live streams, but it will overall just be more economical, seeing as we're not having guests or other people on the stream. That being said, maybe we want guests. Maybe we want to actually talk to other people. So we can try and get like bigger, people who are doing things on and ask them very specific questions about kind of doing it yourself and what that's all about. And in that case, we would need software to do that. So you don't have to give me an answer right now. Maybe we can talk about it in the Bandless Discord. If anybody's not a member of the Discord and wants to be, let me know in the email that I shared in the chat. Yeah, lots of stuff to know. I will not be able to stream every week, but I will be doing tutorial content as well as, just tutorial content. And anybody else who wants to get involved in that, let me know. So, uh, and Cosman is saying, I think for now we are good. As said, things will change when winter comes. Some things are seasonal, right? Um, and big delay for me between what I type here and what Bunn says or responds to. Yeah, this is the thing, and I think that would be a great idea for about getting guests on. Okay, so 13 Flaws, I'm pretty sure you're in the Discord. Yeah, you are. I think I have the Discord up still. Yeah, I do. And who's in there? Um, yeah. And cool. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we can talk about that more in the Discord. And if there's anything specific, you can also send me an email, which is in the chat. I can I copy my, my email is here in the chat, scott@thebun.ca. um, yeah. Yeah. Okay. You are in Discord. I can never remember who is where. There are so many platforms that I am a part of on a daily basis, and I'm just like kind of frying my brain, which is also part of the change, which is, um, in terms of my personal routine, part of that change is social participation. I'm only going to be doing it one day a week in terms of Discord and all that kind of stuff. I kind of had that routine before and it worked pretty well. And then I don't know, things changed and I got involved with a whole bunch more, where, yeah, I got to go back to that one day a week on all social platforms. And then for the rest of the week, it's just work, nose to the grindstone type stuff. So, yeah, it's hard to remember who's where and who is who because some of the usernames change too. Cosman says ASCAP is a source of great info, and we could use that as a launch pad of things to deeper dive. Yeah, ASCAP, the performing rights agency, I believe, has all kinds of resources. Most of those agencies do for artists to get, to get their ball rolling. There's a lot to know, a lot to do. And sometimes you just need to talk about it with somebody in this format or otherwise for it to like solidify, to be like, yeah, I get it. That has happened to me so many times. I remember with like code, I used to code all my own websites. And when I was first getting into software, or not software, but, web development, now I use web builders, but I used to code it all. But when I was learning it, it was always the conversations that I had with other developers, that as well as the practice of doing it. But those two things, that's where the aha moments come from in those conversations and whatnot. So that's why I don't want to kill Bandless, because I feel like it's useful for all of that. And Rough Riff is saying, for me, having more focused short videos on specific topics makes it easier to find the helpful info talked about in these streams. Maybe having guests on produced videos would be good. Yes. So I have been thinking about that. Yeah, maybe guests on live streams is not the way. Maybe guests pre-recorded is a better way to do it. I could definitely do it in a more quality way. Yeah, so little vote here. Live stream guests or pre-recorded guests, because maybe what we could do is with the pre-recorded guests be like, hey, this is the guest we have. This is the thing that they have a specialization in. What would you like to know from them? So you could have some, time to kind of ask, put together a bunch of great questions, or at least topics to kind of dive into for those guests. Up to you guys. Let me know. We can talk about it in the Discord. You can also say here. And Cosman says the hurdle, I think, at least for me, is a stockpile of quality, releasable content. Getting that built up and the flywheel of it in motion so you can focus on other aspects, marketing, etc. Yeah. In terms of being, so it's interesting you bring this up, Cosman. This is, something that's relevant to doing the Bandless thing, but also my personal, the Bunn and, my music projects, each one individually, but also under the Bunn. Something that has become of worthy note, I guess, recently. I just recently realized, I'm like, man, I got a lot of stuff that I did that is kind of working for me. It's all kind of this machine that's working. And I think that's what you're talking about. I have that stockpile. And I didn't realize that I had a stockpile worthy of mention. I'm actually doing a video, a Stuck with the Bunn video, and this is a little nugget of part of the various topics that are explored in that video. But this is a worthy thing. Getting that stockpile of stuff. There's no real fast road to it other than just like keep making stuff and keep focusing on trying to make the best stuff that you can possibly make, which is hard in itself, but a worthy goal, 100% worthy goal. And there's a whole bunch of other great benefits that come out of doing it, which is we meet people like each other who are doing things, and we have these great conversations about these sorts of things. And we share and we learn and we grow and we have a good time, all that stuff. So the stockpile, getting to the stockpile is great, but I think instead of focusing on the stockpile, focusing on the next thing and giving the next thing all you got. At some point I stopped worrying about or I stopped thinking about the number of subscribers, the number of videos, the number of songs, all of that stuff. And I'm like, I just want the next thing I do to be something that I can get behind, something that I'm happy, stoked about, not even happy about. Like I'm stoked on it. The last Wetlands track that I released, I'm like, I'm stoked on that track and the track before it. I'm like, man, these are bangers. I like listening to them. I'm like, whoa. But the video that I just put out yesterday, maybe it already feels like a year ago, but I'm like, oh, I'm stoked on that video. It feels good. And I feel like, the kind of way that I address the common topics that come up surrounding the guitar we talk about in that video was like fun and inclusive, and I don't know, I'm just stoked on it, and the aesthetics of that video, I'm stoked on it. So focusing on the things that you're on doing it so that you're stoked on it is maybe the most worthy goal. And the stockpile, it just happens, but you're driven. You're like, oh, I want to make something that I'm stoked on, and I'm, if it takes a little bit longer to make it happen, that's fine. I don't stress too much about, doing things quickly anymore. Although the more I do things, the more I can see how to do things more quickly. But I don't want to do them so quickly that it's no fun to make anymore. Right? So these are things that we want to address as well. We can't be working so much and so vigorously that we miss the experience of the making. We want to enjoy making. There's also like some challenging aspects to making. It's not always a good time, obviously. But focusing on being stoked about it, and the stockpile happens. Yeah. And so the other part that you're talking about here, where once you have that stockpile, you can kind of do more with, like, just overall, I'm starting to feel that myself. So this is a very real thing that you're talking about. And there is value in that. Once you have this a little bit of a body of work, it's easier to do more. Oh, look at this. Do I have to go out? I have to go out to the green room.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go.
I like it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I didn't even bother setting up headphones because I'm like, I'm going solo. I think we're going to do this stream a little bit longer here. Chris, welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, man.
Good to be here.
I am going to plug in some headphones. You say hello to people and pick a cool comment there.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's see, Rough Riffs, Cosman. How you guys doing? Let me look through these comments here.
There we go. Oh, I can hear your speakers.
My speakers.
Yeah, your speakers are there's a delay.
I don't have speakers plugged in. One second.
Oh,
Do
I know. The YouTube, the actual YouTube stream was open in another tab. And so I was getting yeah. I'm technically great. I'm so good at everything. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, man.
Good.
I got off work, saw you were streaming, and ate some food and hopped on.
Get in here.
Mhm.
So we're talking about change, Chris. We're changing things here at the Bandless world, as I'm sure you're aware of. Mr. Nick Hill is, not going to be really able to do much. It's kind of up to the Bunn, but I want to throw it out to the community and say that it's up to us, up to you, Synth Chris, up to the Cosman, up to Anthony Nieto, up to 13 Flaws, up to all of us to what do we want to do with this thing? Because I'm stoked on it. It's a good vibe. I'm not always able to stream or whatever, but there's a lot I can contribute to. But there's a lot that everybody can contribute to, and I want to know what those things are and how we're going to go about doing that in the future. The big thing is, I think the topic is, do we kill the Restream software, which allows us to do this?
Yeah, that's outside of my area of expertise.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the
what
reason why.
alternatives are.
Yeah, the reason it's a topic is because the patrons fund it. It's too much money for me to fund personally. Not that I'm not willing to, I'm 100% willing. I just don't have personally the finances, given everything that I do that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it would be irresponsible for me to take that on. So it's funded by the patrons. Do we keep it? Is there value in the Restream software subscription? And that's up to the patrons and the members in general. So patrons, you can message me and let me know. But since Chris, change, do you what's going on with your life in terms of change? You're about to go back to school.
Yes, sir.
And what does that mean in terms of making music, making videos, just doing the Synth Chris thing?
So my internship wraps up this week, and I'll be leaving my job here.
Yeah.
So I even with school, I think I'll have more time to do music and whatnot, and more time to do some videos and whatnot.
Have fun, be creative.
Yeah.
It seems like school is that for a lot of people. I don't know, obviously everybody knows who Misha Mansour is. But Misha Mansour went to school here in Toronto at U of T. And that's when I came to know of him, and he was friends with other friends of mine. He was not what he is today, although it was beginning. He was Bulb on the Meshuggah forums. and he was releasing all this music. I'm like, how are you doing this? And he's like, oh, I got this broken PC and some stolen software. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, he was at school, and that's kind of how he got the genesis of Periphery really rolling. Not saying that that's what you should do,
Yeah.
but it seems to be a trend. And yeah, school is a place where there's more time to focus on creating, especially things that involve sitting in front of a computer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is what I mainly do, I
Yeah.
guess.
So I would imagine you look forward to this change.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm living at home right now, which is, I'm very grateful and all that, but it's,
Yeah.
it'll be nice to have my own place.
A lot of distractions. With this year of school, typically in the past, you've had dorm rooms. In this year, you are going into a private residence. Is it going to be shared with other students, like a house or something, or an apartment?
Yeah, it'll be an apartment, so I'll have my own room, and 2 other guys will have their own rooms, and we'll have like a common area and kitchen and all that. And,
Right.
yeah. These are
Cool.
guys that I know, so yeah.
Yeah, and that you've known for the last few years that you came to know at school, right? They're in the same program as you, or they're just schoolmates?
They're just schoolmates. I guess one of them is also in the College of Engineering or whatever, but not really the same thing, I guess.
Right. Well, he's not an engineer, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
the engineers, like,
yeah. Well,
Engineer-
no, he's an engineer. He's an engineer.
I'm just teasing. But engineers are pretty badass. They are responsible for changing the world. So we're gonna go to some comments here. Anthony Nieto is saying 1 vote for pre-recorded guests seems way cool, maybe with some preset audience questions gathered that week via Discord. Cool. So since Chris, question for you is, if we were to have like this would be a pre-recorded thing, not a live stream type of scenario, but sort of a podcast format where we have a guest and we can kind of ask them anything we want. Creators kind of like ourselves, but maybe just like a little bit of ahead. Is there anybody like that you can think of that you'd be like, oh, I'd like to know how this person is kind of doing what they're doing? I
can think of one person right now, and I can definitely think of more later on. But
but who is that one person?
I don't actually know his name, so one
Okay.
1 second.
But there is a creator that you follow.
Yes. He just did a video on the Tim Henson amp recently.
Oh, Kieran?
Yeah.
From South Africa? No, Australia?
Man. Keon Hushman.
Yeah, Hushman.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's the guy I was thinking of.
I think it's just Kieran, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, he's a good dude, man. I would love to have an interview with that guy, because I think he's also an engineer. Like, I think he's in uni for engineering as well, or something like that. He's really, really, really smart. That guy.
Like I remember he was addressing like being in school and studying. I just thought it'd be interesting to hear his kind of his perspective on that.
Yeah, and he has like a runaway YouTube channel. Like, he's seeing a significant amount of success with being on YouTube. I don't know if it's translating into the popularity of his music. I don't know if he releases his own music. I know that he writes riffs though, which says I'm not a very good fan that I don't know these things. I'm a fan of his videos more. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of his videos, and we've chatted a bunch.
Yeah, he's like really talented. Like, he's got insane production on his stuff.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Kieran is definitely someone. Kieran. It
looks like it says Kian.
Yeah, you got me doubting as well. But we could definitely probably do something with him. The biggest names only okay, bam. So the biggest names only have but so many releases to lean on. Once you build that, you're off. Cosman is talking about building a base of content, I guess. So building a base of albums. So since Chris, you have quite a few releases right now.
Yes, sir.
And do you find it's a little bit easier to kind of like open doors and do, you just have a little bit to work from. You have a few YouTube videos up. You have a few subscribers. You have a few things going on. And it's much different now doing something than it was even 2 years ago, 3 years ago when there was less. So having a little bit of a body of work makes certain things a little bit easier.
Yeah, it definitely makes like showing examples of my work a lot easier. Just to have this all already. I have a website, the YouTube and all that. It's
And where there are people, where there are listeners, where there are people to kind of sort of confide in and share with and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It definitely helps having a little bit of a base. All right. I think we're going to go till, what time do you want to go till Chris? I was only going to go till 9.
I don't know what's that? What time zone you're in again?
Well, it's 9. It's 9:15 here.
Oh, okay.
So
my schedule's
15
wide open.
minutes, 45 minutes. 45 minutes brings us to a total of a 2-hour show.
If you're down with that,
I'm into it.
Okay.
As long as the viewers are into it. We gotta deliver
amp
the
them
goods
up.
though.
Yeah.
So 13 Flaws says, have you contemplated maybe like a once every 2 months group Zoom call, or does that just seem too messy? I am very interested in this. Chris, is this something that you're interested in? I'm not sure how to manage something like this.
Let me wrap my mind. Do you mean like a Zoom call where like the audience is in on it too? And
yeah, a bandless thing where I think you would have to have, so maybe you would have to have a limit of how many people are in it. And then you would have to have sort of rules of engagement of how the conversation is managed.
you need to be like really structured.
Yeah.
Some way to like manage permissions or whatever.
Yeah. But I would love to sort of interact with people.
Yeah, I think
like
that would
this.
be a lot nicer.
It would be amazing. What we were planning before the COVID thing happened in the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group, or at least talking about, was doing some kind of like a meetup. And at the time it was going to be probably somewhere in the Midwest, because it seemed like that's where the majority of people were centered for some reason. Between Kansas and Chicago, and then Detroit, like Michigan and Ohio area. I guess you're still not even that far from that. It would be a flight, but
Yeah. Or
it's
a couple
not
days or drive or whatever,
but it's not too bad. I'm thinking in terms of flying, driving, but also flying. But we were thinking about doing a conference meetup type of thing, which would be amazing. Yeah. I would love to do that. But if a Zoom thing could work, question is, does anybody in the stream have experience with Zoom in this kind of a way? That's the number one question. Otherwise, I'm going to have to research it and try and figure it out. But if you have some knowledge that you'd like to share, let me know, and then we'll talk about it further off camera. Cosman is saying your comment about comic artists, asking how how do I get where you are, Mr. Pro Guy? So Cosman is bringing up a comment or a little story I told a long time ago. It was about this comic artist, this person who sought to be a comic artist, and he asked his hero, how do I get to where you are, Mr. Pro Guy? And the response is, what have you drawn this week? And that hit home for Cosman. Yeah, and I think it hits home for all of us. Like, you know, it's making all the hair on my arm standing up because it's so poignant, it's so true. Like, how do I get to where someone who is successful in anything? Could be money, music, I don't know, writing, comics, I don't know, anything, code, anything. How do you get really good at code and get famous, or get very employable at code? You do it every day,
Yep. Yep.
and you attempt to solve the hard problems, and it's really hard. It's not a glamorous answer, but I think that's what I like about that scenario. I like that it's not glamorous. I like that there's no hack. I like that it's kind of, you know, let the best person float to the top. It's not competitive. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Barry Prosser is saying, Bunn, have you thought about removing the Bigsby on that Gretsch? Unfortunately, Mr. Barry Prosser, we're not talking about guitars here today. But yes, I've thought about it, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't care. And the Bigsby's fine as long as I don't use it. Bam, surprise guest. Oh, we're way behind here, or I'm way behind. Synth Chris. Everybody's saying what's up.
Well, hello, everybody.
Yeah, it's big time difference between where I am and where Chris is, so it's much earlier in Chris's neck of the woods.
Oh, by the way, thank you to
Yes.
Eccentrics. Thank you. That's very nice.
Yeah, awesome videos. I think the sort of like narrated into the Zoom things that you, or into the, like you just have the mic and your messy hair and you're like, nah, and then you cut to all of these scenarios. Like, I love those videos so much. They have this sauce to them that is like amazing.
I've got something else cooking up.
Okay, good. Stoked. Rough Riffs is saying, I'm dropping off for the night, but I'll watch the rest of the video and try and put some feedback in the Discord. Thank you, Rough Riffs. Have a fantastic night. We'll get this all done.
See ya.
And I think 13 Flaws is saying, what is the cost on it? And I think he's saying, what's the cost on Restream? It's like $50 a month, like 49 something US. And
you think for that price we wouldn't have these issues, but
yeah, it's a lot of money to spend per month on this very specific thing. You know, it's a cost that I personally wouldn't be able to justify, but I also have these kinds of costs in other things. So I just can't personally do it. I'm really like on the borderline.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, I already hit that one.
Right.
So what if we started our own Bandcamp CD release and worked together to promote it? So I've thought about this one, Chris, in terms of doing sort of a group Bandcamp. I like the idea of a group Bandcamp. And I don't know about a compilation CD specifically, but a Bandcamp that sort of functions as a label where everyone is, you know, everyone, let's say, who's in the Discord has access to it and can push their stuff to it. Or maybe that's messy and one person or say a smaller group of people manage it and it's their responsibility to push the content to it. The only thing if about that is the people who have elected themselves to perform that role kind of have to do it rain or shine, and they have sort of a community responsibility. So that in itself may be, you know, in a way get messy. And I want to sort of vet those ideas in the beginning of any given project, because when Nick and I started this, we didn't talk about the scenario that, like, what happens if we're just like, Bandless is going to be huge and it's going to be this community of shiny, sunny people, and we're going to have such a good time forever, right? Like we weren't thinking about like, what if life happens? What if I can't do it? Didn't contemplate it for a second. So I want to talk about these things in terms of doing these sorts of projects. I love the idea of these sorts of projects, and I'm keen to kind of do something like this, but asking those questions of like the management and like at what part is it a free for all, and at what part is it, you know, too much for a small group of people to manage or whatever.
Yeah, I've done something like that before, where it was like, there's a subreddit. It's like bedroom bands, and like once a month they would pick the best original that came. Where two people collabed, and you know, I got on there, and I didn't have to do any of the management though. It seemed like that was very messy. Like it was a mess for that, but it wasn't on Bandcamp, so that was part of the problem.
Right. Yeah. And was the music shared via whatever player was available to the individual within the Reddit?
How do you mean?
Like in something like a subreddit where people are sharing their riffs and music and all this kind of stuff. Like how are they sharing it? Is there an audio player built into Reddit, or do you have to share links? Is it a whole mess of links coming from a whole mess of places? What's going on with that?
All the posts that were like, we completed a song, they embedded links and stuff, and then when it came time to release the album, they got the people who organized, they got the files from
all the individuals.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so something to think about in terms of these sort of community projects. Something that I'm very interested in personally, in terms of organizing and managing it. On my end, it has to be limited. But I'm really into the idea. I love the whole community thing. Something that I am interested in, Chris, curious about yourself, curious everybody in the chat, sort of weekly challenges, you know, something that I'm doing for myself in terms of the Bunn and getting more done, like doing less different things in an attempt to get more done. I've kind of mapped it out in the way of challenges for myself, and in a weekly fashion. Like from this week to the next week, this is what the challenge is, and you know, see what comes of it. And so it could be something as simple as, you know, all I'm going to do is write riffs, and I'm going to set a criteria for myself of riffs, and all I'm going to do with all possible available time between this time and this time is write those kinds of riffs or riffs within that criteria. And at the end of the week, I'm going to sort of report, like either show what my findings are, what I've come up with, what I've learned about myself, whatever. Like, I'm just using that as a in the moment example, but do weekly challenges of this sort sound like something fun?
Would this be like a community thing where everyone participates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I think,
and it's up to the individual, right? There's no sort of management aspect to it.
Yeah. So I think it'd be nice if people can just like, you know, drop in. If they can't do it every week, they can just, you know, do this week, skip a week, you know, if they're busy, or all that, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that because.
Is it something you think you would maybe participate in? It doesn't have to be like a hard yes or a hard no. Just like,
something I'd like to.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And a Bandless label funds support the restream cost. And I like this idea. The only difficulty is generating revenue from music on a new project is very difficult.
Oh yeah.
It takes a bit to get there. Eventually it does get there, usually, but in terms of every single musical project I've ever done in my life, eventually they kind of get there. They kind of get somewhere. But yeah, in terms of like doing it for the purpose of offsetting costs off the top, it will not cost money, but it will cost time, because you got to drive traffic to, you know, to the material, to the music. The benefit of this is that driving traffic to the songs, to the music, to the material, you have hypothetically all of the people involved, which in this case might be a lot of people, hopefully driving the traffic there. So the potential initial audience might be significantly higher than an individual like you or myself releasing music for your first time under a new project.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I guess, yeah, I imagine it would take a while in order to start raking in all that $50 a month, but you know.
Yeah, to generate $50 a month on a single release is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I do about that on all of my releases on all platforms. So all of my band camps, I have like 3 band camps. I have, and then I have Spotify, Apple Music, and every other possible streaming service you can imagine. And I generate about $50 a month in music revenue.
Yeah.
On average, it's not a ton of money. Not that it needs to be a ton of money. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, this is the world that we're in. I do see a lot of other revenue from other sources related to the music.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of where the trick is. Zoom call. Okay, I'm way behind here, but I think this is important. Have you ever used Zoom, Chris?
Oh yeah, yeah. Used it all the time for school.
Yeah, that is the school thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Use it, you know, just talking to friends and family and whatnot too.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it. I've never personally used the Zoom. Can we call it the Zoom?
I think you can call it whatever you'd like, but I think people call it Zoom.
People just call it Zoom. I call it the Zoom, officially starting today.
Yep.
But the Zoom
respect
would be fun in a post-COVID world. Annual meetup sounds rad too. Yeah, I would love anybody who has experience with like networked Zoom, like with lots of people, how to manage it and all that. That would be good. 13 Flaws is saying, I did one last night that had about 15 people in it and it worked out pretty well. Any highlights, 13 Flaws, in terms of managing the group of people talking and all that? In terms of your stuff, Chris, you've done school stuff, but what you know, how do they manage it there? Because it's a lot of people. I guess it's a professor, so.
Yeah.
BLM,
I guess the professor has the power to.
Sorry. The professor has the power to command the audience.
Yeah, you can mute people if you wanted, but you know, professor can share screen and share audio and all this sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I guess that kind of thing has to happen. It sounds complicated. Imagine all the teachers who are just thrown into that. There are so many teachers that are not very technical people.
Even the technical ones, man, they're
suffering.
Yeah.
And 13 Flaws is in Australia, so a meetup is out of the question, but or unfortunately, but a Zoom thing. Well, true.
I'm just kidding.
You know, if I get ballin' enough, maybe I'll just fly everybody in.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's 11:22 a.m. for me at the moment. Oh, it's morning. Shoot.
Morning.
Got to head out. Anthony Nieto is out for the evening. Hope you are well and hope to see you on the flip side, brother. Looking forward to your next video.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Anthony has been doing amazing videos.
Mm-hmm.
Just like bam, went straight from no videos to amazing videos.
I don't know how he does it.
How do you do it? Amazing. And compilation showcases the team members and hopefully draws folks in. In theory, reality really crushes dreams, don't it? No, you just got to approach the dream maybe with just a slightly different point of view or a slightly different angle. Never let reality crush the dream, man. Oh, I'm clicking twice on the same thing. So Cosmo's saying now that Nick is out, well, he's not out like forever. He's just out for the moment. We don't know. We're going to play it by ear, but he's, figuratively out, and the responsibility is on me if I want to keep going. And we could have a riff off contest, meaning someone other than Nick could win. Well, Cosman's going to win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not fair if Cosman's in there.
Yeah, Cosman, you're going to have to be a judge, not a participant. Just saying. I'm not opposed to doing sort of a riff, not a contest, but like a riff
Riff party.
Yeah, I want to do something like that for sure in the Discord. We're gonna talk more about that. Challenges games through the Discord. Okay, great. Seems to be people are into this idea. I did that Guitar Max contest to win a guitar. It was fun and motivating. It required me to make a video. Amazing. Just saying, Cosman, you should make more videos because your videos are amazing and you're unbelievably smart. So no pressure. Yeah. No pressure
First video I did was for a Rob Scallon contest.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was awful. it was trash. It's still up though.
But it was the kind of icebreaker you needed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, unless there is some kind of like, most of us do not have like a visceral push to kind of throw ourselves out into the scrutiny of the public. We just, that's not the thing that we're built with. It's very few people that have that. I don't have that at all, but I just want to make stuff so bad and only make stuff. I don't want to do anything else. So I've just accepted the rest of it. How did it go for your Rob Scallon contest?
Oh man.
Like in terms of the material that you came up with, like how do you feel about the guitar part, the music part of it?
Okay. I did a couple of them. For the first one, the only thing I really liked about it was the music part. Like I was actually pretty proud of what I did. So
good. It's
a part of the first album. It's a song called "Gent is Dead" because that was the name of the contest, or it was themed around that or something. But yeah,
I like it.
And did a couple other ones. One of them was a cover.
Yeah,
like two of them were covers, and I mean they went well. It was a lot of fun. Even I got like a shout out and whatnot, but it was just more about. I guess getting in the zone,
participating, yeah, participating and kind of getting that wheel in motion, creating and being sort of fearless to share it. Because even like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Somebody doesn't like it. Who cares?
Yeah. Actually, one of them. Remember? Do you know Anthony, the guy that I have on vocals sometimes? Yeah, that was our first collab, I think.
Oh, collab. Okay, sick. Yeah. I think I know exactly the tune you're talking about. Like a little bit of it is sort of swimming around in terms of like which one is which, but like I think I'm pretty keen on which one you're talking about exactly because I watched it a few times. contest. What are we getting at into here? So change. I'm curious. 39.
Yep.
In terms of just curious, Chris, and curious to everybody else who is hanging out in the stream, is like in terms of change, is change, you know, it's in the forefront for you in terms of school. You're gonna move, and you know your life is going to change, and the workflows and all this sort of stuff is going to change, and opportunities. But do you have anything on the horizon in terms of, you know, I want to do things different, or from what I've gained, from the insight I've gained from doing, I want to change. Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Look at the light.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No sneezing.
It's gone.
But yeah, like I want to change how I want to do things because of the experience that I've, you know, up till now, or I want to change what I'm doing because what I see in the future, in terms of your creativity, in terms of the path of sharing your creativity, anything like that. Is there change on the horizon in these sorts of ways for anyone?
Something I've been working on for a while is a concept EP. I've always thought about doing some sort of concept, you know,
Right.
like a story, because most of my other stuff is just here's a song, here's a song, here's a song. They don't really have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, I know.
Slap them together.
I know the deal.
But I have been having a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
and
You've talked
it's-
about this in the past. What is the concept? Are you at liberty to share what the concept is that is driving
am.
the idea?
I am. It's weird. I was watching some Twilight Zone, and
Right.
maybe I was listening to some like crazy deathcore earlier in the day. But I was like, "Okay, Twilight Zone. What if I just, no?" So it's
So
like
it's called
really.
it's called Death Zone.
I like that. But it's like stupidly fuzzy, sludgy deathcore in G-sharp 0 territory, where I do a fuzz and then pitch shifter after the fuzz.
Disgusting.
Yep, disgusting. I've got some theremin stuff that I've been
Nice.
working on. That's what my next video is probably going to be about. I was able to convert my guitar into a theremin using some software stuff, but so
Of course.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So just I don't know. It's fun just getting like it doesn't make any sense. The album's about an alien god or something. It's just I don't know. It's fun just to not worry about being serious at all.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't, you know.
Yeah, have fun and explore things that tie other things together. I think that's like there's a huge benefit to putting yourself to that kind of a process. And yeah, just like everything you kind of are talking about there is just it's really got me thinking about, you know, how I have been doing things, how I'm moving forward with things. And when you start tying things together in this way, it inspires more connections between things, because you're just suddenly your head is in that space, and you're thinking about those things, and thinking about things like your tone, like you're talking about how you're making these tones so disgusting, and because it needs to sort of fulfill this connection and this meaningful connection between an idea and an expression and maybe a storyline or whatever. And so we start thinking about things like guitar tone way different than before, because the way we were thinking about guitar before maybe was, I like Joe Blow's guitar tone. I want a tone like that. And I watched a few tutorials and I got a tone. Not very artistic.
No, nothing wrong with it though. But
not the wrong thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just full disclaimer.
It's just like this time it's like part of the story in a sense.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
And I think it also influences like how you play that tone and everything, or the tone is influenced by the way that you want to play. You know, it can go any direction. Yeah. Cool things, cool concepts to apply.
But I guess I wasn't very concise, but to wrap it up, what I kind of am getting at is I just want to be able to explore little nuggets.
Yeah.
And come back and explore something else and come back.
Yeah. I approve of that process 100%. Because I think you're way richer in the end. You're way richer in the experience. You're way richer in the sort of takeaway, and the body of work reflects something more meaningful. So, yeah. Oh, Carrie's calling. I'm going to wrap it up in 15 minutes.
Okay. Yep.
Which is exactly the time. So going to grab a few comments. Do you have any eyes on any comments?
I did have one.
Sponsors. Cosman is saying we could grow it and get sponsors. Would be great for the riff contest. And so I'm totally into things. I don't want them to be contests, but like community group projects where everyone's sort of working on something similar for a similar end goal, but like see how different it all is in the end. Like it would be amazing. Like the most creative chugs. How creative can you get with chugs? Do it in 30 seconds. Show us a 30-second example of how creative you got with chugging. You can do it any way. It can be rhythmic. It could be texture. It could be the way that the chugs play against the other instruments. It could be trade-offs. It could be a melodic chugging. I don't know. Maybe that's going to be our first one.
Creative chugs?
Like, how creative can you get with chugs in 30 seconds? 30 seconds is actually a long time in music. So you no longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
For sure, somebody is going to do one chug. They're like, it's just going to be like chug.
It'll be like a weird noise, like soundscape kind of thing.
It's a Suno chug. Do you know who Suno is? Or it's just Sun, but people say Suno.
I know. I've listened to like a little bit, but I know it's just like
drones,
stupidly low and slow, and just like
it's just a drone forever.
Yeah.
But there are songs.
Yeah.
Not my place to speak on.
Yeah, I'm no expert in it.
Yeah, we would need to bring a drone expert on. And
yeah.
I know just the guy.
No, just the guy?
I know like a drone expert for sure.
Oh.
Would be an interesting episode, actually. The nuance of the nuances of very nuanced music. What to think about.
I know nothing about it. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Here.
After this one. Yeah, you do yours. Cosman is saying Liquid Death is out. They had their chance. I agree.
Well, I mean,
Fluff,
if they want.
Fluff just came in and ruined it. So
yeah.
Nothing against Fluff, but like he just came in and just snaked the whole concept. Like even the verbiage, everything.
Nothing against him, but come on, man.
It's fine. No judgment.
Yeah. This is the comment I was looking at.
Oh yeah.
13 Flaws talking about contests. I don't know if we talked about this, but he's I entered the Gear Guys 200K song contest, and it was great to put that deadline on myself to actually finish the song. That's I think that's like exactly how I felt about the video and the song when I was doing my stuff.
The Rob Scallon one.
Yeah. And there were also these sort of limitations that were put on all the entries that took me to directions that I wasn't expecting, or that produced some interesting results, even if or at least got me thinking about something else I could do.
Yeah.
So just
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do one. There will be nothing to win. other than yeah, how do we structure that part?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Is moving the Bandless stream to a weekend maybe a possibility? Would possibly make it easier to have guests as we're in different time zones. I am totally in to doing a weekend stream. I loved doing the Friday night streams. I just,
right.
yeah, my whole thing was like coming up with the content for them, coming up for like, usually when I do a stream, it is all about like something specific. So there is a thread that ties through everything.
A
so
concept
that we can,
stream.
yeah, so we can, yeah, gonna put out a record.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a single though. It'll be
Yeah.
45 minutes long. It's going to be called Stream of Consciousness. That's the concept.
That's deep.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All this stuff is just like,
We're spitballing here.
you got me going. You got, you know.
But yeah,
but-
I'm all for a weekend. I'll have more time once I start.
Right.
When I move out to the
yeah,
apartment, but yeah.
we can move it to a weekend for sure. And it seems that you, okay. 13 Flaws is saying it seems that you need to have one or two people as the moderators, and he's moderators. That's so hard to say. But this is about the Zoom calls, doing group Zooms.
Right.
And Rift Party Coffee Mug.
I forgot. There's wicked Rift moments, and now we have Rift Party. Yeah, we're coining all these terms.
Yeah. And this is a good one. I know it's missing from my life. More critics. Yeah. In terms of like, that's one of the things I don't like about contests and competitions. I'm like, we don't need, and I agree, we don't need any more critics. But sort of the excitement and enthusiasm around a group effort, I do like that.
I like that as well.
So there's accountability, there's like energy, there is criteria like you're talking about, Chris, in terms of narrowing down some parameters, all of that. So yeah, no critics, just cool dogs, you know.
Cool dogs and
DAWGs.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't look into the light. This, I must be way back in the stream. Don't look into the light.
I think this is when you were about to sneeze.
I was about to sneeze, yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
So it seems there's some enthusiasm for the chug off. We're going to do a chug off.
I know some people are going to do some crazy stuff like
triplets.
Oh, that'll blow my mind. What if this is... That's the craziest thing you can. Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
yeah, Chris, I'm expecting some feats here.
Some feet.
Wow, foot chugs. Yeah, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
And Cosman's going to auto-tune his. It's going to be share.
Oh man.
It's going to be, do you believe in life after love in chugs?
I want to see some goofy entries. That's all. Entries.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
And 13 Flaws is saying I'm in a Discord that does weekly game with parameters. And it's really interesting to see what people come up with. Yeah. Does a weekly game, like play the game or develop a game. Like, Chris, that sounds like a Discord you should be in. All right. Conceptualize and deploy a game right now.
Right. Like a video. Okay. I thought you were talking about like some D&D thing or whatever. Like where everyone would get together and kind of do something like that. But yeah. I see what you're saying.
And whatchamacallit, 13 Flaws saying that his messages keep getting deleted. I'm not sure if that's here or in the Discord with the games and all that. Not sure.
Not sure either. Oh, this is probably in reply to 13
Must be
flaws.
flag. Oh, disinformation. Oh, maybe. Yeah, could be. And this is brilliant. 13 Flaws. Do you believe in life after chugs, after chugs, after chugs? Do you know the song? It's a famous Cher song. Not that younger people might even know who Cher is at all, but
Okay.
it's a hit song. That first song to use auto-tune in this, like, in the way that we hear auto-tune all the time now.
Like the super over the top stuff?
Yeah.
Wait, 1 second.
You're going to listen to it?
Oh, yeah. I've heard this one before.
Yeah. Do you believe in life after chugs, after chugs, after chugs?
So now you got to do it 13 flaws.
13 Flaws, you just pegged your personal riff challenge, your personal chug challenge. The Bandless chug challenge. I think I'm going to do a commercial for it.
That would be fun.
Honest.
That would be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah. The Bandless, the 2001 Bandless chug challenge.
Yeah, I'm thinking like like, you know, get the old screen ratio and like some weird zoom ins and
mega zooms. Whoa.
Yeah.
Of course, it'll just be a digital zoom, so the pixel quality will be nice.
Will be spot on. Yeah.
Quality. But we're going to wind it down here. It is 9:56. We've learned much. I'm going to catch up with everyone in the Bandless Discord. The Chug Challenge. Who wants to? We need people to head that up. I'm just going to make some notes here. We need more moderation. Are you a moderator in the Discord? Do you want to be one?
I don't think I am. I'm down. We can shoot me some messages. And yeah.
Cool.
I don't go on it that often, but yeah.
No, I know. And I think that's the case with everyone. So it's like there's always sort of someone because people dip in and out all the time. Mods, challenge, and what else? Oh, moving to a weekend streams. And if anybody can sort of remember some of the stuff some of the changes that we talked about tonight, I'm going to remember as many as possible, but if you could share them in the Discord, that'd be great. If you're not in the Discord and you'd like to get into it, oh man, I'm so phlegmy. You can message me. You can also get in touch with Chris or anyone, any of the mods in here. I think Cosman is a moderator, as well as Anthony Nieto and a few others. So yeah, we're going to get it going. We're going to change it up, but we're going to have more fun with it. And it's going to be more about all of us and way less about me, because I don't want it to be about me at all, ever. So yeah, let's get creativity into high gear here, folks. We're going to shut down. Chris, is there anything that you want to share? Anything that you got going on? You got a video that's about to, it sounds like you got a video that's about to drop, and you're working on some music. What's anything current, or we'll wait till that happens?
I am working on what could become a video. So I'm doing some experimentation, and it might lead to something. But yeah, still working on the album, and maybe I'll put out a release date today. My plans is in November to have dropped this album. By the latest.
That's a good timeline. It's practical. And you're going to have like the kind of the energy of the new situation. When do you move? Next week? No,
I am
2 weeks.
We're moving back on the 20th.
Right.
Like be driving over.
2.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, you'll have the sort of energy of the fresh place, and you know, I feel like the beginning of school, there's always this energy to it, and I feel it even still. Every autumn comes around, and I just feel energized in the way, like for that first day of school, or first week of school, or whatever. even though I haven't been in school for years.
You live near one though, right? You like near live campus.
Yeah, there's so many schools around me. The
Okay.
energy of school is in the air whenever school is back in. So not as much the last 2 years, of course, but yeah, there is something about it. All right, we're gonna get out. Like I say, anybody who has an idea of kind of the changes that we'd like to implement, change any things that you guys have ideas for, we can put it in the general topic of the Discord. Let's have some fun and let's get things going. Also, how to better organize the Discord. It's a bit of a mess. Maybe it needs changing. Maybe it needs to stay the same and I just need to focus on less of it. Don't know. I feel very overwhelmed when I go there.
Yeah.
So I think I might limit how many tabs I have of my own. I have my own sort of tabs there. I might get rid of them and just focus on Bandless. It's not like none of my tabs. And it's just like general, whatever, like Nick can have his and the rest of them. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a fantastic night. Chris, thanks for jumping on, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
I wasn't sure if I was going to do a stream today. Nick was originally going to join me, but he's working.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, he's very busy. And so kind of last minute, I was like, I'll just do it. And I'm going to talk about exactly what's happening. But yeah, it was a nice surprise for you to jump on. And we're going to make a plan in the thing. I'll make you a moderator in the Discord as soon as we get off.
Yeah.
Good night to everyone.
Good night, everybody.